Oh, what's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX here, coming to you from IRL International Racing League F2 Season 2, Round 5 here at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. And hopefully y'all are getting to this stream because we've run into some technical difficulties again, compliments of YouTube. So the stream is not on the official IRL channel, it is on mine. So hopefully everybody makes it. Hopefully you enjoy the video of the stream today for Round 5. We'll go down the drivers lineup. Looks like we've got almost a full house today. Lots of drivers joining in for this one. F2's been a pretty spectacular season so far. Last week they were at Canada for round 4, where Harry Cooper took pole and also walked away with the win. Jack Yates had picked up his 4th straight podium of the year. He's got a commanding points lead, and Jared Fosbury had come home 3rd, picking up his 2nd podium of the year. Alexander Bastos came home with a very impressive 4th for him. Kevin Harrison was 6th. Adrian Storm was 7th. Cameron Wilson-Edwards came home a very disappointing 9th. And then 9 through 14 were drivers that came home DNF style. Ivan Brito, Andre Pastano, Charlie Sampson, Joshua Arnold, Jonas Bogen, and Paco Suarez all had DNFs at round 4 in Canada last week. It was a pretty interesting race. You can actually check out that stream. It was on Sandro Sauerhog's YouTube channel, and that is a very complicated name. It is TNR_ZEX, and I believe if you type that in, you'll get a search bar that will bring up the rest of it. You can check out that stream from last week as we see a couple of drivers getting ready to head out onto the track. But the weather started out in the dry, or actually, as I said, the race started out in the dry last week in Canada. Rained towards the end of the race. There was a couple of guys that got caught out in the rain. Some guys tried to stay out a little longer. Some guys switched over early. So the weather wreaked havoc. Alexander Bastos played the strategy perfectly to come home 4th. Harry Ryan took a commanding win from pole to finish. But some other guys were 4 laps down. Some other guys obviously got caught out in the weather and crashed. Again, Ivan Brito, Andre Pastano, Charlie Sampson, Joshua Arnold, Jonas Bogen, and Paco Suarez all coming home with DNFs. And in the case of Joshua Arnold and in case of Joshua Arnold and Paco Suarez, they have 3 DNFs heading into this race, so they're batting 3 for 4 with DNFs. Pastana's got 2 for the opening 4 rounds. And Charlie Sampson, who has not participated in every single race this year, has 1 DNF to his credit. But the real surprise was Joshua Arnold picking up another DNF. Who Arnold has shown some speed. He had pole back in Silverstone, and of course we're having more technical issues. We're having audio issues, so no surprise there. No engine sound. I love it. Codemasters, you never fail. Let's see if we can get this straight. In some cases you can trick the system into hearing you. But not in this case. Oh, stand by. So while we try to get back in, Joshua Arnold did show some speed. Round 1, he picked up the pole at Silverstone, but he crashed out at that race, and subsequently, pretty much every race he's participated in, he has had a DNF, unfortunately. So we're going to try and get back in here to follow up on this short qualifying session. It's going to be 18-minute qualifying session, 50% race. Hopefully we'll get some engine audio this time. I do see a couple of people, and we've got engine audio. Thank you, Codemasters, for your amazing software engineering. So finally we've got some engine audio. We're able to pick up one of the Haas's. Looks like this is going to be Thomas Scott. He's out on the hard tires. Nobody has set a time, so we haven't missed a whole lot of action here because of this. Got a lot of guys on outlaps, less than 14 minutes to play in the session. Run down the driver lineup. We've got Harry Cooper. Looks like he's coming out on the Toro also. Nexus Aspect, and I always get the Nexus drivers confused, but that's Kevin Harrison in the Sauer. Thomas Scott. Nexus Suarez is Paco Suarez. And Jared Fosbury is the first one to set a time. And the McLaren at a 1:33.353. Got Adrian Storm. Joshua Arnold. Nexus Cats Andre Zaz. Chipsman Country is Jack Jones. Nexus Eric, that is Eric Salama, I believe. Yes, Eric Salama, he won round 3 and round 2, Austria and Mexico back-to-back. And we've got Jamie Morris, Jorge Correa still in the pits. Nexus Iceman is Jack Yates, your points leader. Bar 3D, Venom X is going to be Louis Quinlan. X-Fate is Ivan Brito, and he is pulled off to the side, letting one of the other cars go by. Letting another car go by. James Al is going to be James Hallworth, and then there's Cameron Weston Edwards in the other Ferrari. He'll be teammates with Louis Quinlan today. Alexander Bastos coming off that very impressive 4th place finish at Canada last week. And then Daniel Tamberg rounding out a full grid today, 20 drivers. It should be very interesting, but only 2 of them have set time so far. We didn't mention Luis Wassman in the Racing Point. Last time we saw Wassman was back in round 3 in Mexico, where he was subsequently disqualified from the race. He had a qualifying ban that he did not acknowledge and did not serve. He was disqualified from that round, but he is back and out on track today. I believe he actually had a race ban because of that. We got a couple of guys starting times. Alexander Bastos to the top of the charts, 1:33.156. So Bastos, maybe he's found some speed here as of lately. Yuck Jones is second quickest, 1:33.336. And a lot of these guys looks like they might be setting times on the harder tires. You see, Bastos set his on the soft, Jones on the soft. Now, Fosbury set his on the mediums, and Wassman set his on the hards, and now Louis Quinlan goes to the top of the chart, 1:32.589, the first driver to break into the 1:32s. So time's starting to drop here with 11 minutes left to play in the session. And I want to thank everybody who's joining in on the live stream. I know it's a little uncharacteristic, but for whatever reason, PlayStation's had some technical difficulties here lately with YouTubers not able to sign into accounts, getting some weird messages on other accounts. Case in point, today we were going to go stream on the IRL channel, and for whatever reason, it would not let me stream on the IRL channel unless I acknowledged their terms of agreement. And then when I went to the YouTube channel page to do that, it said I had already done it, and it wouldn't let me stream. So luckily, I'm here on my channel, and look at this, Eric Salama, 1:31.514 on the softs, 1 second faster than the next closest car. And now Harry Cooper, 1:31.7. So the big dogs come out swinging. We got a lot of drivers. Only 8 drivers have set a time so far. But Harry Cooper, 1:31.7. His teammate, James Hallworth. I'm sorry, that's not his teammate. His teammate would be Andre Zaz. Nope. His teammate is Jamie Morris. We've got some Portuguese fans chiming in. Ricardo, I'm not even going to try and say your last name. Figueiredo. Rooting on Naz, Ivan Brito, so he's rooting for Bastos, Jorge Correa, and Andre Pastana. Got a lot of Portuguese guys chiming in on the live chat. Good to have that type of support. Some national support showing itself at IRL. Bastos currently 5th quickest. Jorge Correa currently 8th quickest. Ivan Burrito has yet to set a time. And neither has Pistana. Now Zaz has gone 1:32.668. Adrian Storm up to 5th. So still waiting on the likes of Thomas Scott to set a time. In fact, let's get some lap data up here. He's in Sector 3. So it looks like he should be on a flying lap right now. Circuit of the Americas, built in beautiful Austin, Texas. And Thomas Scott is going to abort that lap. Paco Suarez is yet to set a time. He is currently on an out lap. Lots of guys on out lap. We're going to pick up Cameron Weston Edwards, though. Looks like he's getting a tow from his teammate, Louis Quinlan, and Quinlan almost takes him out. Looks like Quinlan wanted to try and get out of the way. At the same time, Edwards wanted to go around him, so that was almost catastrophic. Edwards had a disappointing outing last time, coming home 8th. He was the last of the finishing drivers of Canada. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. It's probably somebody slowing down to let other cars by. Edwards in the Ferrari. We've got a request for tire info, and there it is. A lot of guys on softs coming back out. In fact, the only two drivers is Luis Wassman and Jorge Correa on mediums right now. Correa's got 2 laps on his mediums, and Wassman he's currently he's on an out lap. He just came out of the pits. And you see Cameron Weston Edwards does come across the line. Oh, and he makes contact. I'm sure that was incidental contact. That was with one of the Haas's. And it looks like that would have been Alexander Bastos. But Bastos is in the Renault. Thomas Scott. That would have been Thomas Scott coming out of the pits. So Cameron Weston Edwards goes to 3rd quickest with a 1:32.159. He's the first driver in the 1:32s. The only 2 guys to break into the 1:31s has been Eric Salama in the factory Renault and Harry Cooper, 1:31.7 flat. And Salama on his out lap. We'll pick up Harry Cooper. Starts another hot lap. Less than 6 minutes left to play in the session. Run down through the S's. The S's are a very crucial spot on this track. They are modeled after the Suzuka S's, which coincidentally Suzuka was today for real Formula One. Apparently, already showed the tires, but we'll show them again for everybody. Apparently, tire info is very key to everybody. So, Sandro, there's your tire information again. The Luis Wassman, the only driver on mediums. Everybody else is currently on softs. As we continue to watch Harry Cooper. He's in the final sector. Oh, and he aborts the lap. Looked like he was on a relatively good lap, but he aborted it. Meanwhile, Iceman has gone 3rd quickest, dropping Cameron Weston Edwards down to 4th. Edwards is still the first driver in the 132s as Iceman, Jack Yates, breaks into the 131s as well. Pick up Jorge Correa since we've got some national pride in here in the live chat. So Jorge Correa currently on an out lap. Oh, and Eric Salama improves on his time real quick. 1:31.282. for the factory Renault, and Salama is going to retire from the session. Looks like he feels like that is good enough for pole, and less than 4 minutes to play. And we are going to pick up Jorge Correa, currently 15th quickest. We'll ride along with him. Looks like he's going to have a car to contend with coming out of the pits. That's Cameron Weston Edwards to the top of the hill. Edwards moves aside. Good line taken by Correa as he heads down into the S's, key part of the track. This is where you can lose a lot of time through here. Adrian Storm retires from the session. He's satisfied with his time, currently 10th quickest. Correa a little slow through there, cuts that corner a little tight. Cuts that one a little tight as well. Down the backstretch. DRS slot open. Correa trying to put in some time. And he is 6/10 up at the second sector on his previous best time. So he'll be looking to crack into the 132s. That would definitely move him up the chart. A little bit of a twitch coming out of that corner. Last couple of corners. Gets the power down coming out of the last corner. Here he comes. 132.761. Over a second faster than his previous time. Moves him into 10th. Good lap by Jorge Correa. And less than 2 minutes left to play. And here comes Cameron Weston Edwards. He was just now starting his, probably what's going to be his final lap. Does he have anything for the top four? Thomas Scott to the fourth spot. 132.088. Oh, and Edwards has got traffic to contend with, and that is going to ruin his lap. Edwards has to abort. He's got a racing point, and Louis Quinlan in front of him. And I'm not sure who that is in the racing point. It's probably Luis Wassman. That would be Wassman on his out lap. So unfortunate for Cameron Weston Edwards, who was on a hot lap. And it looks like Edwards might be pulling off to the side. And Thomas Scott retires from the session. He's happy with his time in the 132.0. Looks like Edwards is going to try and give himself a little bit of leeway here. So we got a lot of drivers that are going to try and throw in a last-ditch effort. So Harry Cooper's on an out lap. Jack Yates is on an out lap. Daniel Tannenberg, Louis Quinlan. Alexander Bastos is now down to 14th. Luis Wassman, Ivan Brito, and Nexus Aspect. That is Kevin Harrison. And Chipsman Crunchy, that is Jock Jones. Retires, he is 16th quickest so far. So now to find out where all these drivers are on track. This is Harry Cooper just coming out of the top of turn 1 at the top of the hill. Harry Cooper looking very fast through the S's. We get a caution in Sector 3. And now Sector 2. Oh, and Cooper, he cuts the corner, and he's going to call it a day. So he's going to be locked into second for now. Pick up Iceman Jack Yates, your current championship points leader. He has scored a podium in all 4 of the opening rounds here so far. Can he do it again? Can he make it 5 straight? Luis Wassman calls it a day. And checkers are up. Hot laps will count. Andre Zaz is locked in at a 132.144, currently good enough for 5th. Paco Suarez never set a time. Joshua Arnold never set a time. That may have been due to qualifying bans from the previous round in Canada. I'm not 100% sure on that information. We continue to watch Jack Yates. Jared Fosbury retires from the session. He ran 132.517, good enough for 9th. Jamie Morris locked in at 132.932. Continue to watch Jack Yates through Sector 3. Couple of more corners to go. Daniel Tamberg comes across the line, 1:32.169, good enough for 8th right now. Look at this, 1:31.778. He's not able to improve his time. He's currently 4th quickest. Paco Suarez sets in a flyer at the last minute to take 3rd spot. A good effort by Paco Suarez. So here is your starting order. Eric Salama, Harry Cooper, Paco Suarez, Jack Yates, Thomas Scott, Andre Zaz, Cameron Weston Edwards up to 7th. Daniel Tamberg is 8th. Jared Fosbury is, that's not Jared Fosbury, that's Kevin Harrison 9th. Jared Fosbury is 10th. Jorge Correa falls to 11th. Louis Quinlan is 12th. Adrian Storm 13th. James Hallworth, disappointing, 14th. Jamie Morris is 15th. And Alexander Bastos, who set a quick time early on, falls all the way down to 16th. Luis Wassman is 17th. Jock Jones is 18th. Ivan Brito, 19th. That is the slowest time of the drivers who set times. Joshua Arnold serves penalty. In the Racing Point, he will be starting at the back of the field. So Joshua Arnold, who unfortunately has had 3 DNFs out of 4 races this year, but he did have the pole back in Silverstone at round 1. And we do have wet weather here in Texas. It doesn't happen very often. But the great equalizer has shown its ugly face early on. Now, will it rain throughout the course of the whole race, or will it clear up towards the end? Going to be interesting to see. And Adrian Storm did ask in the live chat who's running wet setups, and I'm being corrected that it's Jamie Griffiths, not Morris. And you're probably right, because there is a Jamie Morris in SRL who I commentate for as well. So that is my mistake. That is Jamie Griffiths, not Jamie Morris. So, going to do the formation lap, and Eric Salama is going to be looking to pick up another win. He had 2 in a row at round 2 and round 3. That was Austria and Mexico. Didn't get one last round. Harry Cooper, though, he did start from pole and finish on the top step of the podium last round out of Canada, so he'll be looking to try and work his way to the top step again. Paco Suarez, unfortunately, has gone 3 for 4 this year with a DNF, so he'll be looking to try and finish in the points. Jack Yates is going to be looking to extend his points lead and also make it 5 straight podiums. Thomas Scott, starting in 5th, will be trying to work his way up to the podiums as well. Andre Zaz has had a couple of good runs so far this year. Will be looking to finish strong with the Red Bull. Cameron Weston Edwards had a very disappointing outing last time out of Canada. Struggled in the wet a little bit. He was the last car to finish in the 8th spot. He'll be looking to try and improve upon that today. And Daniel Tamberg, who's proven to be pretty quick so far this year, he won the first round at Silverstone, and he'll be looking to try and work his way through the field. He did finish 5th at the second round, so he's going to be trying to put some points on the board. Jared Fosbury is going to be looking to work his way back to the podium as well. The defending F2 champion has found some stiff competition so far this year. Jorge Correa, some national pride. Everybody rooting for him, it seems like. He'll be trying to work his way up the field, score some points for the Haas team today. And Louis Quinlan will be looking to finish a race as he has struggled so far this year. Quinlan has got 1 DNF and no points so far. Adrian Storm will be looking to work his way through the field, score some points. And James Hallworth will be looking to do the same, as Red Bull has struggled a little bit so far this year as a team. So hopefully they can have a good finish with Zaz starting in 6th. Good points day is a possibility. Nexus Aspect is Kevin Harrison. He had a great run last time out at Mexico where he finished 2nd, so strategy is going to be his key. Jamie Griffiths is going to be starting in 15th. He'll be looking to try and score some points as well. Alexander Bastos coming off of one of his best career finishes ever in IRL with a 4th last time out. Can he do it again? Can he play the strategy part and work his way through the field and stay out of trouble? We shall see. And Luis Wassman, who had a race ban because he didn't serve a penalty in round 3 at Mexico, will be starting in the 17th position. Jock Jones is going to be looking to finish a race. He's been in 1 race so far this year, had a DNF, and that was round 2 at Austria. Ivan Brito is going to want to work his way through the field, put some points on the board for McLaren. And Joshua Arnold will be starting in the back of the pack, serving a qualifying penalty. So that is going to round out a full grid, 20 drivers today. Waiting on 5 red lights. Lights out, time to run what you brung, and there's already a drive-through penalty for Luis Wassman for jumping the start, and it's a good start by Harry Cooper, trying to run up the inside. Salomon's going to try and take the long way around, and there's going to be a little bit of contact in the back with the Red Bull and the Ferrari of Cameron Weston Edwards. They're 4 wide trying to come out of the top of the hill, and there's a lot of guys that have already lost a few positions. Daniel Tannenberg is one of them. And Thomas Scott is going to be losing a spot to Cameron Weston Edwards. Got somebody wide off there in the back of the S's. The cars are slip sliding around and rain is pouring down. And Cooper falls back into 3rd spot as Yates manages to get around him through the S's. Meanwhile, Salomon's already pulled out to a 1.5 second gap over the field. And we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Somebody is dropping through the field. That is going to be Louis Quinlan. And it looks like he may have had some contact with somebody. Where is Quinlan? Oh, we got a couple of guys bringing up the rear. That's Alexander Bastos. Oh, no. And he's dropped. Adrian Storm's falling down through the field. This whole gaggle of cars going down the back stretch. And a 5-second penalty for Joshua Arnold for cutting the corner and picking up a spot. He never gave it back. And Wassman is now out. What has happened to Luis Wassman? Looks like his car is going off there on the end, so Wassman, not sure if he crashed into the wall or called it a day, but he has left the session. Kevin Harrison struggling in the wet so far. Joshua Arnold's managed to get around Ivan Brito. Meanwhile, a battle towards the front. We've got Cameron Weston Edwards closing in on Harry Cooper for the 3rd spot. And Ivan Brito looks like he may have had some contact. He's lost. Oh, he's gone around. That is Alexander Bastos. No, that was Ivan Brito getting spun. Trying to keep up with all the action. We've got a lot of guys heading into the pits now. Probably wing damage for Jock Jones. Suarez has managed to get around Thomas Scott. Nope, Scott takes the position back. Crazy opening lap. Oh, and somebody cut the corner there. That was Tannenberg. He had slid through the S's, and the 3-second time penalty for Joshua Arnold for corner cutting. Oh, and they're banging wheels, and around goes the 15 almost. Thomas Scott with a little bit of contact there. Cameron Weston Edwards makes the move on Harry Cooper. Cooper's trying to come back down the inside. He's going to give him a little shoulder nudge. They're side by side coming out of the corner onto the backstretch. And this is a 3-way battle for 3rd. We look out the back of Edwards' Ferrari. He tries to take the defensive line. Here comes Cooper on the outside. He's being followed by Jared Fosbury. Hard braking zone in the wet. Edwards is able to keep the position, and now, oh, look at this. It's a 4-way battle. It's now one of the Williams as Daniel Tannenberg has shown up. Edwards trying mightily to hang on to that 3rd spot. Cooper wants it back. And there's a yellow flag at sectors 1 and 2. And we've got a 4-car train for the 3rd spot. Eric Salama has pulled out to a 1.5 second gap over Jack Yates. But we're watching this battle for 3rd here. That's Cameron Weston Edwards in the Ferrari, Harry Cooper in the Toro Rosso, Jared Fosbury in the McLaren, and Daniel Tannenberg in the Williams. And it honestly looks like Weston Edwards is possibly holding up these 3 other drivers. But that being said, Edwards is very hard to get around to begin with. He got a good run coming out of that last corner. Fosbury looking to make a move on the inside. Hard in the braking zone. He does get through. He's around Harry Cooper. He picks up the 4th spot. And now Fosbury's going to start working on the back end of Cameron Weston Edwards. Cooper looks like he's a little offline heading through the S's. Tannenberg's going to try and go around the outside. And now it becomes the inside, and Tannenberg's able to pick up the position. So Harry Cooper, struggling in the wet, started in 2nd, has now dropped to 5th. Meanwhile, Jorge Correa is making a move on Paco Suarez. Down on the inside, and Jorge Correa is going to pick up the 7th spot. Does he outbreak himself? No. Perfect move. Suarez tries the crossover move. And now it's a drag race down the backstretch between the Mercedes and the Haas. And Jared Fosbury just made a move on Cameron Weston Edwards to pick up the third spot. Edwards going to try and go around the outside. Fosbury pushes him a little wide out onto the curb. Meanwhile, Correa is still trying to work on Suarez. Suarez takes the position back. They're trying to keep up with all the action all over this course right now. And Zaz is going to pick up a spot over Kevin Harrison. That is for 10th. That is the last points paying position. So Andre Zaz has worked his way into the points. And you can see the racing line starting to form here. I wouldn't say it's a dry line. Oh, look at this to the inside. Harrison almost pushed him very far outside. Zaz returns the favor. They're side by side heading into the last corner. Now Harrison got a pretty good run out of that corner. He got the power down really well, and it's a drag race up to turn 1. Zaz has got the more preferred line. Harrison's going to try and work the outside, but it looks like he might lose the spot to Joshua Arnold. Nope, Arnold wasn't close enough to make it work. And now they'll fall single file as they head through the S's. Oh, and somebody cut the corner there. That was Arnold. He picks up another 3-second time penalty. So that is 3 time penalties for Joshua Arnold so far in the opening 4 laps. He's basically picking up a penalty a lap. One of them was a 5-second penalty, plus the 2 3-second penalties. That's going to cost him drastically at the end of this race. Meanwhile, Paco Suarez and Jorge Correa are still battling it out for the 7th spot, and they have caught the back end of Harry Cooper, so it's a 3-car battle now for the 6th spot. Cooper struggling in the wet. Correa to the inside, big lockup on that left front. I'm sorry, on the right front. He manages to save it from making any contact. So a bold move, and I'm going to yellow flag at Sector 2. Zaz and Joshua Arnold going side by side. There's a 3-car battle here. Oh my goodness. There's more contact and more contact. That's Harrison and Arnold and Zaz. And everybody is bumping and banging here. And oh no, Ivan Brito has DNF'd, running in 19th. Yellow flag Sector 3. I'm not sure if he crashed out or if he has called it a day upon his own accord, possibly a rage quit. Hard to say, but a disappointing day for Ivan Brito. We had such high hopes for him. Caution flags fly in Sectors 2 and 3. Cooper now, oh, he gets shoved there, coming out of turn 1. Made contact with Paco Suarez. And you can't go side by side to the S as Suarez makes the move. That was never going to work, and now look at this. Suarez gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corner. Harry Cooper probably picked up a warning for that one, and Jorge Correa is right behind him in the 8th spot. And Harry Cooper continues to struggle here in the wet. I'm not sure if he just missed the setup on the car. He had such a great outing back in Canada last time out in the wet and won the race, but today he's gone from 2nd down to 7th, and he's about to lose that spot. Correa tries to put the power down. The back end almost comes around on him. Meanwhile, Arnold and Harrison are still battling it out. A little more bumping and grinding going there. And back to the inside, Arnold's going to go. And Arnold makes the move. Oh, we've got to switch for position here. This is Cameron Weston Edwards. Daniel Tamberg just took that spot. Edwards is coming back. He's not done. Meanwhile, no change at the front. Salamo still has a 1.5 to 2 second lead over Jack Yates. Jared Fosbury running comfortably in the 3rd spot. And Tamberg picks up the fastest lap, a 1:54.525. Compare that to the pole times, which was down in the 1:31s. Meanwhile, Harrison and Arnold. Arnold finally dives into the pits. Going to stick with Arnold here, see if he switches over to the intermediates. The racing line has started to perform. He's the first driver to make a pit here under a normal pit stop sequence. And it looks like he's going to serve his 5-second penalty. They're going to start working on the car. Swap out the front nose. Looks like another set of full wets. And away he goes. So he serves his 5-second penalties. He's still got 6 seconds worth of time penalties to be assessed at the end of the race. And Jamie Griffiths has crashed out. It looks like DNF 18th for him. And we are watching the red racing point here. And it looks like Joshua Arnold may be calling it a day as well. Not sure what's going on with Joshua Arnold. We continue to watch what's going on here. But look at this. Switch for position battle for the 7th spot. Correa hasn't given up on it. Cooper doesn't want to lose any more spots than he already has. And yellow flag in Sector 2. That is going to be probably Joshua Arnold. Looks like Jock Jones just went around him. And Arnold spins. And not too sure what's going on with Joshua Arnold's car. Possibly having some wheel issues at home or controller issues. He wasn't running that terribly bad off the pace. Made a pit stop and around he goes again. So Joshua Arnold's race has fallen apart. We've got guys diving into the pits. So a lot of guys here pitting. It looks like everybody's going to switch over to the intermediates. And Salama is in and out, retains the lead. He's followed by Jack Yates. And we see them all coming back out on the intermediate tires. So the rain's starting to let up a little bit and working lap 7 of 28. And Tamberg picks up a 3-second time penalty. So we've got a 3-car battle here. This is Yates, Fosbury, and Tamberg. No, I'm sorry. That is not accurate. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. It's not Yates. It is Fosbury, Tamberg, and Cameron Weston Edwards. 3-car battle for the 3rd spot. Yellow flag, Sector 3. And here you see the 3-car train as they get onto the backstretch, and they're actually not that far off Jared Fosbury for the 3rd spot. So Daniel Tamberg working on the backside. And here comes Cameron Weston Edwards. And this is your closest battle on track right now. And Eric Salama came into the pits with a 1.5-second lead over Jack Yates. And Salama comes out of the pits with a 4-second lead over Iceman Jack Yates. Meanwhile, the battle for 8th rages on. Battle for 7th rages on. Harry Cooper still trying to hold off Jorge Correa. These two have not been able to get away from each other, and Correa has not been able to find a way around Cooper as of yet. The battle for 3rd rages on. It's a 3-car battle. That's Jared Fosbury, Daniel Tamberg, and Cameron Weston Edwards to the top of the hill here at Turn 1. Tamberg's not close enough to make a move. Edwards has fallen off the gap here a little bit, 7/10 off now. Meanwhile, we still continue to watch Correa as we fly back to that here. That's Harry Cooper running in 7th in the Toro Rosso. James Hallworth is just now coming into the pits. He's going to give up the 10th and 11th spot and hand that over to Thomas Scott and Andre Zaz. Jock Jones picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and now the battle for 3rd has closed up again. This is Daniel Tamberg now all over the gearbox of the McLaren. Here comes Cameron Weston Edwards down to the inside. He's going to try and pick up a 2-for-1 deal. The racing point of Joshua Arnold gets out of the way. And to the inside, Edwards trying to make it stick. He's getting the power down, but he has to fall back in line. He picks up at least 1 spot. Bold move. We look out the back of the Ferrari, and here comes Tamberg to the outside. Edwards is going to take the more defensive line. He's going to try and make Tamberg go the long way around. It's 3 wide as they head into the corner at the end of the backstretch. And a crossover move. Edwards isn't able to get the power down to make it work. Fosbury trying to hold him off. And Edwards is still working the outside line. He's entered the double apex right-hander. Crossover move again. He tries to switch it to the inside. He lost some ground there, and it's a 3-second time penalty. He cut that corner too deep. So now Edwards has 3 seconds to be assessed at the end of this race. Tamberg is all over the back of the Ferrari. And Eric Salama just set the fastest lap at a 1:54.13. That's 3 seconds quicker over the wet tires. And Joshua Arnold finally retires from the race. He'll be classified 17th. Edwards' big, bold move gets out of line. It looked more like a fade there. He's trying to fake out Jared Fosbury, trying to get him to bite, but it didn't work. Fosbury held his line. And now the 3-car train's going to head into the S's. Another 3-second time penalty for Jock Jones, who is running in 16th currently. Cameron Weston Edwards picks up another 3-second time penalty. Daniel Tamberg picks up another 3-second time penalty. So the guys are cutting the corners hardcore through the S's, costing them a lot of time. Adrian Storm just set the fastest lap at a 1:49.836. So the times are starting to drop here on the intermediates. And Edwards cuts that corner big time, pushes Fosbury out wide, but he gets to position. Fosbury's going to take it back, and there's a little bit of shoulder checking going on. And Fosbury looks like he's going to lose 2 positions in one corner. Not sure how he's going to feel about that. And Tamberg all over the backside of the McLaren of Fosbury. And here goes Tamberg to the inside, and it's 3 wide as they head into the corner again. Tamberg backs off. Fosbury's able to get the position back. This is the battle for third. And Fosbury's going to try and fight his way to get back around Cameron Weston Edwards. And he's going to get by. Edwards is going to dive in deep. A little bit of counter steers. The back end almost came around on him. Side by side as they come out of the corner. A little bit of argy-bargy there. They're shoulder checking each other. Lots of contact. Nothing that's too overly aggressive, though. The cars are sliding all over the place because of the track conditions. And Eric Salama just set the fastest lap, leading the way. 1:49.640. Salama is now 5.5 seconds ahead of Jack Yates, but we're watching the battle for third. Edwards is going to try and take a defensive line. Get a little bit of a gap. Oh, but he's side by side. Now Tamberg's going to come up. Tamberg cuts left, and it looks like he's got the position. Side by side with Jared Fosbury as he comes across now. And Fosbury falls in line for the S's, so the battle for third rages on. Cameron Weston Edwards able to gap Daniel Tamberg and Jared Fosbury just a little bit. And Harry Cooper has actually closed that gap to Fosbury a little bit. 4-second gap, and him and Jorge Correa still battling. Rob brings up a good point, though. Those 3 cars did slow themselves down. And here comes Tamberg. He's side by side with Edwards, and Tamberg is going to take the position. A crossover move by Edwards to try and get the position back. A little bit of a lockup in the right front from the Ferrari. Daniel Tamberg picks up third. Can he hold back Cameron Weston Edwards? And you can see in the back there's a couple of 2-car battles that are materializing as these 3 have been battling with each other for the last number of laps. Harry Cooper and Jorge Correa still fighting with each other for the 6th spot. You go a little bit farther back than that, you've got Paco Suarez and Kevin Harrison fighting for the 8th position. So if what Rob says is true, then the battle for third will turn into about a 6-car battle here in the next few laps. And we're going to monitor the gap between that. So really what it is, it's a 4.5 second gap back for the battle for third to Harry Cooper in the Toro Rosso. Cooper's now gapped Jorge Correa a little bit, so he's probably going to be able to close that in. Meanwhile, Daniel Tamberg, Cameron Weston-Edwards, and Jared Fosbury have swapped positions a number of times as we work a lap 11 of 28. And it looks like the sun is starting to peek through the clouds a little bit. And now the Ferrari of Edwards and the Williams of Daniel Tamberg have gapped Jared Fosbury just a little bit. Nobody's close enough to make a move this time. And Harry Cooper, who started in the second spot, dropped through the field a little bit when the rain was coming down real hard. He's been able to make up a little bit of time now in the intermediates as the racing line starts to dry out a little bit. Him and Correa have been battling for 6th. Jock Jones picks up another 3-second time penalty. That's going to be inconsequential to his race. He's currently running 16th and is the last car running. 17th through 20th have all crashed out. Meanwhile, Eric Salama in the factory Renault has pulled out to a 7.5-second lead over Jack Yates. So we hop on board with Cameron Weston-Edwards again on the nose cam as he heads up to the hill to the top of turn 1. Not close enough to make a move. Can he get a good run, though, and get a good, solid run through the S's? And James Hallworth picks up a 3-second time penalty. A little bit of difference of setups there, I suppose. A little bit more downforce on the Ferrari. Then the Williams Tamberg is able to gap the Ferrari just a little bit of Edwards. So this battle that raged on for a number of laps has settled down just a little bit for the time being. And since they've settled down, Harry Cooper hasn't been able to really close in the gap. When we last checked, it was a 4.5-second gap back to 6th. And it's now 4.2 seconds. However, Fosbury is close, got a good run coming out of that corner down the back stretch. So now Fosbury is going to be looking to make a move to pick up the 4th spot over Cameron Weston-Edwards. And we know Edwards has got at least 2 time penalties to be assessed at the end of this race. That is a glitch in the system. It's a quality Codemasters glitch. Everybody on track currently is on intermediates. And I did notice that as well. It's a weird glitch in the system. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it shows one tire. Sometimes they all flash different colors. Jared Fosbury, though, looking to make a move on Edwards to the top of the hill. Not able to make it stick. We ride on board with Fosbury through the S's, gingerly making that left-right transition. Don't want to over-snap the car. And now Edwards, he's fallen off from Daniel Tamberg. He's starting to lose touch with him. Tamberg's been able to gap Edwards to the tune of 1.5 seconds, and Edwards picks up another 3-second time penalty at the top of that corner. So that is now 9 seconds worth of penalties that's going to have to be served. And a yellow flag, sector 1 and 2. And it looks like that would be Thomas Scott. Thomas Scott, Louis Quinlan. And now Fosbury makes the move on Edwards at the end of the straightaway. Oh no, and Edwards takes out the pylon at the end of the corner, cut it way too tight. He's going to get himself another warning for corner cutting. Tries to come back. Gives a little bump and run to Fosbury. Down all the way down to the inside. Edwards is trying to find a way around the McLaren. Can't get the power down. And Edwards struggled last time out at Canada in the wet. That was last week's race where he came home 8th because of wet conditions. So Edwards loses touch with Daniel Tamberg, and then he gets swallowed up And he runs very wide coming out of that corner, and he gets swallowed up by Jared Fosbury, so Everett's down into the 5th position. Meanwhile, we're going to drop back and take a look at the battle for 8th, because this is between Paco Suarez and Kevin Harrison. The Mercedes and the Sauber. Harrison trying to get a good run out of the top of the hill. They're going to be nose to tail as they head through the S's. Oh, look at this. Harrison tries to make a move. You can't go side by side through the S's, and he makes it stick. Unbelievable pass by Kevin Harrison over Paco Suarez. Bold move and made it work. That was an amazing overtake. Meanwhile, crowd favorite Jorge Correa still trying to find a way around Harry Cooper for the 6th spot. And you go a little bit further back, you've got Adrian Storm working on Louis Quinlan for the 11th spot. Now the sun is definitely starting to peek through. The rain is still coming down, but it's not too bad. Maybe getting to a transition period. Who's going to be the first driver to switch over to slicks? I'm going to give it about 3 laps, and I think we'll see somebody try and switch over to slicks. The racing line is starting to come in a little bit. Oh, and look at this Suarez. This is not Suarez. This is Adrian Storm still trying to work his way around that Ferrari. Oh, we've got somebody who's headed into the pits. Jorge Correa is into the pits. Daniel Tamberg is into the pits. A lot of guys are switching into the pits, and looks like Daniel Tamberg might have switched over to softs, or mediums, I should say. We're gonna get some tire detail here in a minute. Daniel Tamberg, Jorge Correa, Paco Suarez all just came in, switched over to medium tires. Got a lot of cars. And we've actually got Andre Zaz and Louis Quinlan came in, switched over to soft tires. So the softs are going to offer a little bit more grip, but if this track dries out relatively quick, they may not be able to run the rest of the distance on those soft tires. The mediums you could definitely run to the end of the race. The top 6 drivers have yet to pit for any type of crossover to the slick tires, but we're watching Daniel Tamberg. He's going to be the driver to watch. He was the first one to swap over. He's currently on an outlap, but if he can run a fast lap on those softs, that might entice everybody else to switch over. The rain's still coming down a little bit. We've got the top 4 drivers all just went into the pits. Tamberg, though, he was the first one to switch over. Where is Tamberg going to come out? And Daniel Tamberg moves up into 4th, and he's all over the back of Jack Yates for the 3rd spot. Now, Yates is on the soft tires, and they're going to go side by side down towards the S's. It's not going to work. Woo, that was close. And Daniel Tamberg, who we were watching, just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Be interesting to see if the 2 Saubers now, I believe, are both on soft tires. No, Kevin Harrison hasn't pitted. He is still in the intermediates. And Harrison is going to let his teammate go by. He knows he's on the slower tires. Doesn't want to hold him up any more than he has to. So Harrison tried to stretch it. In the battle for 7th, this is a 3-car battle we switch over to. This is Jorge Correa, Harry Cooper, and Paco Suarez. And Cooper and Correa have been going back and forth with each other all race. Cooper's able to get back out in front. Oh no, and Suarez loses the back end of the Mercedes, and he slaps the wall. I wonder if he did any damage to the left rear. And Harrison is finally going to come in and pit. Uh-oh, and Andre Zaz has got a DNF. And it looks like Thomas Scott had to go around him big time. So Zaz is done for the day. Suarez has jumped into the pits. Suarez is going to swap over to some slicks after making contact with the wall. Switch over to the soft tire. Meanwhile, Daniel Tannenberg is now on the back end of Jack Yates for the 2nd spot. Fosbury has lost touch with this battle. Fosbury is now 4 seconds back. And to the outside, the DRS slot is open, so DRS has been enabled. And Tannenberg around the outside of Yates for the 2nd position. Meanwhile, Eric Salama in the factory Renault is well ahead of this, 7.5 seconds out in front. Salama hasn't had anything to worry about throughout the course of this whole race. And in the grand scheme of things, this battle could really, it doesn't even have to be a battle. If Jack Yates plays his cards right, we know Daniel Tannenberg has at least 9 seconds worth of penalties. So if he stays within that gap, Tannenberg's going to lose 2nd spot anyway. So really all Yates has to do is hold his position, maintain the gap, and he'll finish 2nd. Nobody's going to be catching Eric Salama. He's already pulled out to an 8+ second gap now in the dry weather. And now that things have calmed down a little bit, the cars are gapped themselves a little bit. Give you a nice grid reset. We'll run down the order. Eric Salama running in first in the factory Renault. 8.5 seconds behind him, you're going to pick up Daniel Tannenberg and Nexus Iceman. That is Jack Yates for the 2nd and 3rd spot. Jared Fosbury is now 3 seconds off of that battle in 4th. Cameron Weston Edwards has fallen back to 5th. He's being pursued by Harry Cooper in 6th. He's being followed, as he has been all race, by Jorge Correa in the 7th spot. Kevin Harrison, who ran the intermediates an extra lap, pitted from 2nd, falls back to 8th. Louis Quinlan running in 9th. That's a good outing for him. He rarely has been able to finish in the points lately. Hopefully he'll be able to put some points on the board today for the Ferrari team. Adrian Storm is 10th after he slapped the wall and pitted. Thomas Scott is currently running in 11th. Paco Suarez is 12th. Alexander Bastos with a disappointing outing in 13th. James Hallworth is 14th. And Jock Jones is running in 15th with a numerous amount of penalties. And he is 22 seconds behind the 14th place car of James Hallworth. That rounds out the 15 remaining drivers. We've had started with 20 cars, 15 left. Andre Zaz, Joshua Arnold, Jamie Griffiths, Ivan Brito, and Luis Wassman have all crashed out and picked up DNFs. And currently no battles on track. Closest thing we have going is going to be Daniel Tannenberg in the Williams running in 2nd. being pursued by the Alfa Romeo of Jack Yates, and he's being pursued by Jared Fosbury. But it's almost 2 seconds back to Yates, and almost 2 seconds, a second and a half back to Fosbury. Now, if Eric Solomon does pick up this third win of the year, he will definitely push himself into the championship point standings. He'll be able to take over the points lead from Jack Yates. Jack Yates, though, is going to be looking to finish on the podium and keep his perfect score alive. It'll make him 5 for 5 this year. 5 races, 5 podiums. It'll be interesting to see if the softs, how well they hold up over the next 8 laps. I didn't think the softs would last long enough from when he pitted, but Tamberg only pitted 1 lap later, or 1 lap sooner. I know the mediums will go with no problem. The other problem, though, is that we know Daniel Tamberg has so many time penalties assessed. Even if he does get the lead towards the end due to a pit stop or something like that, chances are he's not going to get credited with the win. But I think the battle right now is going to be between who's on mediums and who's on soft, because if you're on the soft tire, you're going to start losing time here the next couple laps, where if you're on the mediums, they're going to come to life and you're going to be able to run them to the end. And the sun is going to come out and heat up the track. And Harry Cooper has lost the position to, and that might have been the caution in Sector 2 that we saw. So Harry Cooper's lost 2 positions. Jorge Correa moves into the 6th spot. Cooper trying to take back 7th. He's side by side with Kevin Harrison. And Harrison's on a fresher set of softs, so Harrison should have the advantage here. But Cooper, a very fast driver. They make a little bit of contact there. They're side by side through the double apex right-hander. Harrison around the outside. Tries a crossover move. And Harrison now, he's going to be very close as they head into the last corner. Whoa, and around goes the Toro Rosso. Harry Cooper lost the back end of the car. And what a great move by Kevin Harrison to avoid that accident. And he's going to pick up the 7th spot. Amazing save by Kevin Harrison to not make contact with the spinning Toro Rosso. And now we go back, and Cooper's going to call it a day. He's going to call it a day. Rage quit from Harry Cooper. He won last race, spins the car, and says, "I've had enough." Meanwhile, the battle for second is starting to heat up. Daniel Tamberg is currently running in second. 1.5 seconds behind him is Jack Yates, and closing the gap on Jack Yates is Jared Fosbury. So we're going to have another 3-car battle, and here comes Fosbury with the DRS slot open. He's not able to make the move, so Tamberg is going to be starting to come under pressure as this 3-car battle is starting to materialize. Meanwhile, Eric Solomon is out in front to the tune of 11.2 seconds. And I cannot believe that from Harry Cooper. Cooper, who started second, was having a pretty solid run mid-pack. Rule number 1 in racing, never give up. And now Jared Fosbury is going to have the DRS slot open as they head towards the top of turn 1. He's not close enough to make a move. But Fosbury has been very solid through the S's today. He's been able to maintain the gap. Kevin Harrison picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running in 7th. And Tamberg's losing a little bit of time now. Jack Yates is very close to breaking that 1-second barrier. Paco Suarez picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Jack Yates he's just on the cusp of being able to get that DRS. He's not going to have it this time by. He should have it next lap, and we're going to look out the back of Jack Yates' car to the front of the McLaren that he's being pursued by. That's Jared Fosbury. Fosbury's got the DRS slot open as they head down the backstretch. But Yates' car has got some serious high speed going down that straightaway. Fosbury's able to And now Yates has broken that 1 second threshold, so he'll have DRS advantage if he can get back to that under that 1 second gap. And really, if the race was to end now, Tandberg would lose both of those positions. He would actually finish in 4th. And now the DRS slot open on the Sauber. Ooh, Tandberg, the car snaps loose, and oh, look at this, they go by the Williams. That's the team car of Jock Jones getting out of the way. And now we're getting some radio chatter. Harry Cooper expressing his displeasure with Joshua Arnold, which I thought was kind of odd since Arnold crashed out very early on in this race. And I don't think had anything to do with Harry Cooper's finishing position. So some investigating will be going on after the race, I'm sure, from the stewards. And it looks like Thomas Scott is making a move on Paco Suarez, and now the 3-car battle has closed up big time. The Williams and the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren are all nose to tail within a second of each other. 5 laps to go next time by. And the DRS slots open on the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren. But Williams gets a really good run coming out of that last corner down the front straightaway. So the DRS really hasn't been able to help them too. Fosbury's all over the back of the Alfa Romeo. Not a Sauber anymore. Through the S's. Tandberg and Fosbury are on the mediums, so Jack Yates is in the middle of a medium tire sandwich here, and Fosbury dives to the inside to make the move onto the back stretch, and now it's a drag race between these two, and this Alfa Romeo is able to get the power down and able to squeeze it out. He hangs onto the second spot. Fosbury's got the DRS slot open all the way to the inside. Last of the late breakers, Fosbury takes the position, nice and clean, crossover move by Yates, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it work. They're side by side now. And Fosbury's able to hang on to the position, so he sets his sights on his next target, Daniel Tandberg in the Williams. And he's able to gap the Alfa Romeo, so and Thomas Scott and Paco Suarez continue to swap positions for the last points-paying spot. Check that out real quick because these two have gone back and forth the past couple of laps. But really, it's the battle for second that we're interested in. This is Jared Fosbury, Daniel Tandberg. Fosbury trying to find a way around the Williams. The Alfa Romeo's fallen off the pace just a little bit, possibly tires starting to give up. He is on the softs. These other two drivers are on the mediums. DRS slot open, and here comes Fosbury to the inside of Tandberg. Tandberg's going to try and make a crossover move, gets the power down really well coming out of that corner. They're side by side. Fosbury's trying to hang on to that position. And now Jared's going to try the crossover, can't make it work. Looks like he had to get out of the power just for a hot second. Cost him a little bit of time. And now Harry Cooper is expressing his displeasure with Paco Suarez. And James Holworth, oh no, James Holworth is retired from the session. Holworth, who is running in 13th, looks like he's going to be credited with a DNF as well. And Fosbury to the inside of Daniel Tamberg takes the position at the top of turn 1. And Fosbury now, can he gap Tamberg through the S's? 3 laps to go, and you can't even tell that 10 laps ago it was raining. The sun has come out, the track is dry, the cars are fast. And Tamberg, I know Tamberg knows he's got some time penalties to be assessed, but he doesn't know how many Jared Fosbury has, so he doesn't want to give up too much time. And Adrian Storm and Paco's, or not Paco, yeah, it's Adrian Storm. We got a 4-car battle going on here. So Suarez and Quinlan are battling back and forth. Meanwhile, Fosbury is still trying to hold off the crossover move there from Daniel Tamberg, and Tamberg takes the position back. Yellow flag in Sector 1. It was a great move at the end of the straightaway there. And Jack Yates, currently running in 4th. Is this the race where the podium streak comes to an end? And now Fosbury again is going to be looking to make a move at the top of the hill. Cuts to the inside. And he gets around Tamberg again. And Jock Jones has been disqualified from the session. What did Jock Jones do that was so bad? He had a caution flag in Sector 3. So Jock Jones is going to be credited with a 20th place finish and a disqualification from the round. And Daniel Tamberg going to try and make a move to the inside of Fosbury as they run down the back straightaway. Fosbury tucks back in. He's not going to have the DRS advantage. So the battle for second rages on. Yeah, Tamberg has got that car hooked up. Tamberg's been fast all year. And Jared Fosbury is your defending F2 champion from last year, so they're both very quick drivers. Tamberg won the opening round at Silverstone, so we know he's got speed. Came home 5th at round 2 at Austria. Came home 4th in Mexico. And he missed the last round, so 3 good points finishings so far this year with a win. But again, Fosbury side by side. Tamberg got the more preferred line. Final lap, by the way. As this battle rages on, we ride on board real quick with Tamberg and the Williams. Meanwhile, Eric Salama is way out in front. 11.5 seconds in front of this battle. And Tamberg, I think, is going to be probably a little bit upset with himself at the end of this race. And now we have more chat on the live chat. Zaz hoping that Aspect, that is Kevin Harrison, hoping he crashes out. So not sure what's going on there between those two drivers. A lot of anger going on here at the Circuit of Americas as Tamberg loses the position again. Oh, and he gives a little bit of bump to Jared Fosbury. Tried giving him the chrome horn. Fosbury going to try and hang on to the position. Whoa, and way outside goes Tamberg. trying to keep that power down, doesn't want to give up the spot. Eric Salama has come across the line, 11.5 seconds in front of everybody. We continue to watch this battle unfold here. And this is going to be Jared Fosbury comes across the line. Daniel Tamberg comes across the line. Nexus Iceman. Cameron Wesson-Edwards comes home 5th. Jorge Correa comes home in 6th spot. Great run for him. Kevin Harrison working his way through the last set of corners. And Kevin Harrison. So that is 7th spot for Kevin Harrison. And time penalties looking to be very much an issue. Adrian Storm comes home 8th. Thomas Scott heading through the last corner now. He'll come home 9th. Here comes Paco Suarez through the last corner. He'll be the last points paying position. Oh, but he loses the back end of the car right at the last corner, and he's going to lose the spot to Alexander Bastos. Bastos comes home 10th. Louis Quinlan's 11th. And Suarez is going to be kicking himself in the butt for losing the back end of the car at the last corner of the last lap. He falls from 10th to 12th. That is a head shaker right there. So after time penalties are assessed, the running order has been, and Eric Salama looking more like Erica Salama, okay. Eric Salama comes home with the win. See if we can get the official finishing order here. After all the time penalties have been assessed, looks like there was, I mean, obviously Iceman, Jack Yates picks up the 2nd spot. So Jack Yates, who finished 4th, came across the line 4th, picks up 2nd. So Eric Salama with his 3rd win of the year. The podium finishes for Jack Yates stays 5 for 5. He's batting 1,000. Jared Fosbury comes home 3rd. Daniel Tamberg drops to 4th. Jorge Correa comes home 5th because of time penalties that had to be served by Cameron Wesson-Edwards, who is now 6th. Kevin Harrison 7th, Adrian Storm 8th, Thomas Scott is 9th, Alexander Bastos picks up 10th, Louis Quinlan is 11th, Paco Suarez will be kicking himself for that spin at the end, 12th, and then 13th through 20th is all DNFs. That was James Hallworth, Harry Cooper, Andre Zaz, Joshua Arnold, Jamie Griffiths, Ivan Brito, Luis Wassman, and Chips Man Crunchy, Jock Jones, who was disqualified for not 100% sure what reason, so we're going to try and get the top 3 in here for interviews. Stand by. So we'll try to get Jared Fosbury in here, who finished 3rd, and I believe he also is friends with all the other guys, so there is Fosbury. So you'll be able to invite the other 2.
I sent them invites once.
So, Jared, another podium finish for you. That was a very interesting race from wet to dry, plus the time penalties from Daniel Tamberg that had to be assessed. Did you know that time penalties were going to be a factor while you were racing him on track?
No, not really. I didn't know how many Dan actually got. I knew Jack had none. and he's lucky again. I have to give him that with another stupid penalty I got in the S6 trying to avoid Cameron. But other than that, good racing from the two other Nexus drivers today. Great win for Eric and another podium for Jack. But no, I was just focused on race. I knew I was second in the championship. I know I'm defending the championship this season, so if I can succeed, it's one thing. But there is one driver who I'm a bit annoyed at, and it is unfortunately Cameron. Fortunately, he tapped my rear end and almost sent me flying, which I think lost him a bit of his wings. I believe that was his own fault there, but I do apologise if it was a bit my fault, but I need to give a bit more space in future. Other than that, great drive for everybody else, and yeah, I'm just thrilled to get third place yet again.
And Jack Yates with another podium finish, 5 for 5 so far this year in the opening rounds. Consistency is key as you were battling for the championship points lead. Did you know that Tamberg and Fosbury had the time penalties that they had? Because you were finished 4th. Were you expecting to come home second?
Yep.
Forgot, you're the guy of few words. And do we have Eric in here as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Eric, with your third win of the season, there's some talk now that you are too fast for this league. Is there a step into the F1 League in your future?
I don't think, like, it actually depends on the weather and track, but unfortunately, because of my schedule, Saturdays are quite impossible because of work. Sundays are the only days I can do, at least this season, so I don't know. We have to see. If I can do Division 2 this season, then I can do Division 1 because of the schedule, unfortunately. But there are a lot of fast drivers here.
And who would you say? I mean, there seems to be a big championship points battle between you and Yates and Fosbury.
Yeah, the problem is because I can make every other Sunday, so you have to cut me out from the championship fight. So yeah, I think it's between Jack Yates and Jarrett. Personally, the championship. So the one who's gonna give me the most money, I will make him the champion, definitely.
Well, congratulations on your third win of the season.
Yes.
And Jack Yates, congratulations on another podium finish. And Jared, so with Eric only being able to race every other weekend, would you say Jack is probably your biggest competition for defending your title from last year?
Yeah, I've got to say Jack's the only one in F2 who's showed respect and dominance in that league. Right now, Eric is there, but unfortunately he can't make certain days. And in my opinion, I don't think he is too fast for this league. I don't know why people are complaining because Cooper won by 11 seconds last week, so Eric and Cooper are roughly the same pace, and if me and Jack keep performing day to day, we'll be eventually at that pace. And yeah, I think Jack's going to be my main rival to try and take my title back. But if he wins it, congratulations to him if he does, but we'll have to wait and see until the final round and the final point. So yeah.
Well, congratulations to all three drivers on their finishes today. And I want to thank everybody for joining in on the live chat and watching on my channel. Now, remember, guys, this is not the official International Racing League YouTube channel. We had some technical difficulties today, so be sure to jump over to IRL on YouTube and like, subscribe, and comment to their YouTube channel. And hopefully we'll get these technical difficulties straightened out for the next round, which is going to be next week at Monaco. And by all means, like, subscribe, and comment to my YouTube channel. You can also check out IRL online, International Racing League-IRL.com, specializing in F1 racing. They have an F1, F2, and F3 leagues going this year. So big time racing in that. And be sure to check them out on Twitter as well. Jared, what's the Twitter handle?
Just type in IRL or International Racing League in Twitter. And Sandro is the one who runs the website. But other than that, you can check by the YouTube description, and also leave a subscribe and a like. Really helps the channel grow. Thank you very much. Lads.
I think if you get Jack to say anything, it'll be impressive.
Well,
So.
even Kimi talks more than him. Jesus.
So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Make sure to see everybody at the next round. It's going to be October 20th, 11:30 for F2 and F3 at Monaco. Be sure to check out F1 on Saturdays at 1 o'clock. International Racing League-IRL.com. Like, subscribe, and comment, and everybody will see you guys at the next round.